What's going on, everybody? Everybody doing today? We got a pretty good show today, actually. But before I start, YouTube land, I need everybody to hit that subscribe button so y'all can subscribe to me on YouTube. So I can be like so cool and stuff like that. But I'm just acting crazy. But yeah, don't forget to hit that subscribe button before we continue the show. So yeah, the topic today is witchcraft. Why did I pick witchcraft? You say? Hmm. I was, as usual. If you want to know anything from anywhere, any perspective in the world, go to YouTube. YouTube got it all. And I was looking at some stuff on YouTube about witchcraft. I didn't even type it in. I was looking at some stuff about a video game, and it just popped up on the screen. But it goes. They show you the things that you're interested in off your watching. But I'm like, witchcraft. Okay, then World of Witchcraft popped up. The movie, the video game, and Harry Potter popped up, and I hate Harry Potter. I can't stand it. I can't stand Harry Potter. I mean, I have no beef with Daniel Radcliffe and the cast, but Harry Potter's just not a movie for me. But I was scrolling, and I came up on this topic. Well, it's not a topic. It was a video about why are black women leaving church, Christianity, whatever you want to call it, to join to become witches. That's the topic. I'm not making this up. You don't believe me? You can go type it in yourself. So, and it piqued my attention because people sometimes know what they're doing, but a lot of people don't know what they're dealing with. There's higher beings, there's higher powers out here that we don't even know about. And we want to tamper into worlds like this and stuff that we don't understand just to get a good feeling or a good sensation of things of a type of clarity in our minds that we're doing good. So the thing about witchcraft is, first of all, we going to before we dive into the real meaning of it, let's just rewind the clock a little bit in the medieval days. Days before, I forgot what you call the days before that, but remember they was catching witches and burning them at the cross and stuff. I mean, burning them and stuff like that. And but that's just the tip of the iceberg because witchcraft goes way back into the biblical days. If you can, you guys remember King Solomon? You know, he was dampering into witchcraft, but he got the short end of the stick on that one. So, um, witchcraft has been in on the earth ever since as long as I can remember. Now, you got you got witchcraft, you got good witchcraft, you got bad witchcraft. So that's meaning witchcraft was always bad. So now they gotta doctrine it up so it can be good now because all these movies we watch, these Harry Potters and Fantastic Creatures and old TV shows and stuff like that. Those are signs of good magic. I think they call it white magic. I don't know. I forgot what you call it, but that's a symbol of good magic because they're using their magic for a good purpose. But we gotta be we gotta be careful with what we pick and choose because just like I said earlier, a lot of us, well, I ain't gonna say us, a lot of people dabber into stuff and they know nothing about what they're doing. Everything things carry spirits. And so now the fact that they have to switch it around, I mean some movies and reality and stuff, they still deal with witchcraft, bad witches, but it seems like the good witches are taking over. And that's probably a good thing, not at all. Not at all because if we're gonna be frank about it, if we're gonna take all the illusion and the TV out and the lights and magic and the special effects, witchcraft is evil. There's no such thing of, I've said this a whole bunch of times. There's no such thing of a good witch. So if you running around with necklaces on and talking about it, you is a necklace for good spirits and burning sage in your house. And I said this last podcast too, but I didn't really get into it. Burning sage in your house and candles and whatever the heck they be doing. I don't know what they be doing. You're doing nothing but letting spirits in your house. That's all you're doing. I don't care If your grandmama did it, or if your mama did it, or if your daddy did it, your grandpa, it's all bad. All of it. You can't point out to me a good witch if you wanted to. Because in order to be a witch, you have to do demonic things. Now remember, stars and symbols that symbolize witchcraft, demonic entities. So if you're a witch, so there you go. That's how you get these things into this world. You got a prime example, the show Supernatural. Supernatural dealt with so much reality, it's ridiculous. I mean, although it's a show, but whoever produced the show or directed or wrote it or whatever, they knew pretty much what they were talking about. Yes, those symbols can bring entities into this world that we're not ready for. So that's why God got mad at Solomon, King Solomon, because he was trying to dabber into that stuff, and he like, no, 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 homeboy, it don't work like that. So newsflash, God don't give man that type of power. Now, I'm not talking about a prophet or a healer, because God do use his people in his honor and in his glory to heal people. Not all of us can't be prophets, because there's a special type of hierarchy to be something like that. You can't just go to Bible school for how many weeks or years or months they do, and you get out and they give you a certificate and say, oh, there you go lay hands on somebody. No, it don't work like that. It will never work like that. So all this stuff that we see on TV, all this stuff is symbols of witchcraft. Like I said earlier, Harry Potter and all of them, the Wizard of Oz, all of them. Now I'm not saying don't watch these movies for enjoyment. Of course, it's a movie, and half the time that people that make these movies, they don't even know what the heck they doing. They're producers, they're directors, they're writers, they're actors, they're actresses. But if we dig into it, you know, pull the sheet off this joke and dig into the reality of the fact that these are evil entities. You know, Wizard of Oz had the good witch, she wore all white, and the bad witch, she wore all black. This stuff is symbolic. This stuff has always been symbolic. So there's no such thing of a good witch. There will never be a such thing of a good witch, because if you dabble it into witchcraft, you're pretty much dabbling into black magic. Black magic is things that you can do. True, people do study black magic. That's true, and they can elevate themselves. They can fly. Well, I ain't gonna say fly. They can float. They can disappear in front of your eye and reappear. Remember back in the days, we seen magicians in school, and you can see the line. You can see the rope. They coming out. They flying up on or coming down from the rope and stuff like that. But now it's like almost impossible to see this stuff. You got people that's making statues and stuff disappear right before your eyes and walking up walls. Where do you think that stuff come from? But it's a price to pay. There's always a price to pay when you're dealing with something like that, because you're dealing with demonic entities now. And by us being human beings, flesh and blood, we're not ready to take on stuff like that. We're not, because we can't fight a spirit. They can spirits can possess us, but we can't possess a spirit. So it is what it is. I'm sorry. It is what it is, but witchcraft, it wasn't never meant to serve a good purpose. Like all of it, Lord of the Rings, all of it. And I am a Lord of the Rings fan. Sorcerers, witches, the male witches, they go by warlocks, and more than one is a covenant. All that stuff is evil. In order to do evil things, in order to have powers from an evil entity, you have to do evil things to get those powers. So we don't know what these people do. Just because they can smile in our face and put their hand behind their back and bring the hand back out and the cord is gone, there's a bigger thing than that. There's a way bigger thing than that. It was it was never meant for man to have this type of power, because honestly, men don't have power like that. It's something inside of them that give them power. We've never seen a regular man, just a man from regular birth, grow up, whatever, go to school, whatever, and he's just wake up and say, you know what? I'm gonna snap my finger and food gonna fall out the heavens, or I'm gonna walk on this water. That's what regular men don't do. That regular women don't do that. They never do. But back to what I was saying about when I was going on when I was watching YouTube. Why are all these black sisters running to witchcraft now? Why? You know, witchcraft have the power to possess a body to make you fall in love with them. Pretty interesting, huh? Yeah, these people can conjure up a spirit on you, and you can drink some water from their house or whatever, and next thing you know, you be head over heels about these people. Like I said, it's supernatural. It's a hell of a show. But why they have to leave church, the right way, church, to go practice good witchcraft the wrong way, demonic? Because you can't have a wand and say abracadabra, presto, change, or whatever, and something good come out of it. We can't do that. Well, I hit you with the wand and you're healed. Ta-da, you're healed. No, it don't work like that. The only person can heal you from sickness or death of anything is the Lord Himself and the people He chose to do that to. But they're not called witches. They're not called warlocks. They're called they're called prophets and healers. Healers, foreseers. Foreseers can see the future. Um, it's all witchcraft. Foreseers can see the future and going the bad way. The tarot card readers, all that stuff is witchcraft. Because nobody, put it this way. Let me just ballpark. Let's say you have 5,000 tarot card readers from here to, let's say, Gary, Indiana. Just call it like that. 5,000. Why does it take 5,000 card readers to tell you your future? And then if they tell you your future, half of the stuff be wrong any freaking way because they go off what they see. Anybody can sit there and read somebody. It's a piece of cake. All you gotta do is study somebody's aura. They have these cards, and these are tarot cards, and it has death and skull and bones and skeletons. That's it's all witchcraft because God don't deal with death, skeletons, and pirate what they call it, the skull and bones. He don't deal with stuff like that. If He's going to do it, He's going to do it. He don't need no help to do it. He don't need help. When Jesus was walking the earth and He was walking around healing people, you didn't see no 6 point stars on His chest, or He like, wait a minute, I got to conjure up this spirit. No, it was the power from the Lord Himself was working through Jesus. So how do we get better than Him? Although Jesus could have told people their future, but that wasn't what He was here for. He wasn't here to everybody line up. I'm gonna tell y'all how y'all gonna live, how y'all gonna die, who gonna make it to heaven, who gonna make it to hell. No, that wasn't His job. His job was to let man know that God is real. That wasn't His only job, but that was one of His jobs. He came, Jesus walked during the Roman time, so that was witchcraft back there too. Remember the story of Moses. And I just thought about this. Remember the story of Moses when he went to go get the children of Israel out of Egypt. And Pharaoh didn't want to let the children go. God, the Lord said, let my people go. Pharaoh like, no, man, I don't even see your God. He didn't say this, I'm just saying. I don't see your God. My God is stronger than yours. Okay. Remember, Pharaoh, I'm just gonna call them henchmen or his workers. Remember, in the Bible, according to the Bible, they threw their staffs down and they turned to snakes. Now y'all remember that. Moses threw his staff down, turned to snakes, and killed those snakes. Now, the moral of the story is this: if witchcraft is good and God is working with witchcraft, do you think the snakes would have ate each other? Think about it. It all would have been on one accord. So, goes to show you, witchcraft been here for the longest. The same thing that happened back there is the same thing that's happening there. Happening here. I'm sorry. Remember, quotes in the Bible, there's nothing new under the sun, people. So what they did back there is what they doing now. It's the same thing. Witchcraft, false healing, Remember, you got the preachers in these pulpits with thousands and thousands of people, and they call people out the crowd. All this stuff is already rehearsed. They already been called about it. It's already rehearsed. And somebody come up in a walker or a wheelchair, and they lay hands on them, and they get up and walk. But guess what? They were never paralyzed in the first place. Witchcraft. It's all witchcraft because one, like I said earlier, man don't have that power or authority over a spirit. They never did. They never will. So you can burn all the sage you want. That sage does not stop evil entities. And I'll say it again. Sage does not stop evil entities. It's nothing but something you're burning. I'm gonna go get some sage. I'm gonna walk around the whole house, and all the spirits that's in the house is gonna leave. Well, in that case, we don't need God. We don't need him because sage is gonna do it. God never said, you know what? I bless this sage, burn it, and carry it around your house to ward off evil spirits. So he'll be out of a job. What we need him for? All we gotta do is burn something. The spirits just disappear. No, it'll never work like that. But this is what happened when you try to bring in something that overtakes good energy in the world, overtake the Lord. Tarot cards. These people that's wearing these energy bracelets. I mean, not energy bracelets. These people that's wearing these necklaces that it gives good energy in and it casts out all the bad energy. None of us are gods. None of us. We didn't make him. He made us. So he didn't give us power to do that. Only people that get power to do that is the people, like I just said, the people that work for him, and that's got to be hand pointed. No, Moses didn't go fill out an application on Mount Sinai and him and five more people. And he said, "I'm gonna choose this guy." No, remember, Moses started out bad, but God saw favor in Moses. But look what happened to Moses. He turned Moses around because Moses was a believer and he got himself together and he used Moses to do something none of us can do. Moses didn't walk around with no 6 point stars. Moses didn't walk around with no tarot cards in his in his cloth. It wasn't nothing like that. So if our ancestors didn't do it, why do we do it? And we feed into this because, like I always say, evil begets evil. And the more I say it, the more it makes sense on some of the things that I say. Evil is going to always beget evil, no matter what we say, no matter what we do. You got six sisters over here want to be witches. You got five brothers over here want to be warlocks. And they say, you know what? We're going to use our power for good. How? Have you ever heard of witch saving somebody's life? Have you ever heard any good witches in the good book of the Bible? None. They're all condemned. They're all bound to hell. And that's not even judging, but if you don't live for God, you got to go somewhere. If you ain't going up, you got to go down. Simple. So, where do they get the ideology of making witches good? Money. It's money. I was watching this preacher on YouTube today. I think his name is David Lynn. I like him. He makes a lot of sense in his stuff. And he was talking to this woman. He was over there talking about the. He was no, he wasn't talking about them. He was over there on the. I think he was somewhere in Canada, but it was the LBGT parade going on and stuff like that. But he wasn't even talking about that. He was just out giving a word. And this lady came up. This white lady came up. She was real cool. She was real respectful. She knew her wrong. She knew her faults. But she was like, "I'm a I forgot what they call it, a witchering, a wintering, whatever." And she was like, I give good energy into the world, and if I die, I'm sorry, not if I die, when I die, my spirit, my energy will go into trees and birds and stuff. I'm like, dude, no, that's kind of crazy. Just be honest, it's crazy because when you're dead, you're dead. Nobody knows where the spirits go because spirits never came back to say, hey, guess what? It's fun over here. We don't know. The living don't know what the dead do, just like the dead don't know what the living do. That's scripture. So there you go. Now I'm not saying you can't see a relative that you pass. He or she can come to you in a dream, but they not finna sit. Whoa, whoa. Or they not finna sit down and talk to you and say, well, you know what? On the other side, everybody can fly. We ain't gotta eat. All the grass is purple. No, nobody came back to say that. Because once again, we don't know what we do. Once you're dead, you're dead. Once you're living, you living. When you cross that line, you're in another zone. You're not in the land of the living anymore. You're in the land of the dead. We don't know the rules over there, just like they don't know the rules over here. But when you're dealing with witchcraft, they dapper into all of that stuff. Oh, I can bring the dead back. Can't nobody bring the dead back but the Lord. And he stopped taking them calls a long time ago. A long time ago. Every once in a while, he'll show favor to us. Why die before your time? Sometimes we have to go down that route just to see what's down that route. But he don't use witchcraft because he's the Alpha and the Omega. He's the beginning and he's the ending. He was here before us. He'll be here when we're gone. But witchcraft is a thing of is trying to bring immortality. Just like you see on TV, witches they don't get old, but they get old. They got to keep doing demonic things to stay young. Remember Warlock? Remember the movie Warlock, which was a great movie. He was a warlock from the 17th century, I think, like that. They opened up a portal. He came to the 80s. Him and the other guy came to the bounty hunter, tried to stop him, but the stuff he had to do to keep up. What remember he couldn't fly, so what did he have to do? He had to kill a kid and drink and eat a drink and drink the bowl of baby fat of the child and drink the baby fat, and and so he could fly. It's right in our face, people. It's right there in our face. It's right there all the time. But we just look at stuff and say, "Oh man, that was a cool role." Yeah, fine, it is a cool role because, like I said earlier, these actors and directors of they don't even know what's going on. They just made a movie. Hey, we're gonna make a movie about a witch. We're gonna make a movie about warlocks, and it's gonna sell. We're gonna get some money off this boy. No problem. But you have to do in order to stay in the house of evil. You have to do evil. In order to stay in the house of good, you have to do good. So you can't serve two masters. You can't say I'm saved, I'm sanctified, I'm filled with the Holy Spirit is what they say. You can't be filled with the Holy Spirit because if you're filled with the Holy Spirit, you're perfect. You're Jesus. Jesus was the only one that was filled with the Holy Spirit. None of us are. But you can't walk with evil and come home to good. No, you can't go out of heaven, dabble down in hell, and go back up to heaven. We can't do that. So either you're gonna serve the Lord or you're gonna serve the demon. Oh, I'm not sorry, the devil. And the devil gives his people rewards just like God do, but God don't reward his people like that. No, Satan will give you 5 homes, 8 cars, billions and billions and billions of dollars. Yeah, but you got to keep doing what he wants you to do. And that all ties in to witchcraft because if you're making that amount of money, let's just be honest, there's something they're not telling you because these people run the world. They run the world. So it is what it is. So if you know anybody out here that's watching this live or anybody on YouTube, if you know anybody that's practicing witchcraft, the best advice you can give them is tell them they're going the wrong way. If they don't want to change, it's not our job to change them. You can't beat nothing down nobody's throat. You can't jump on their back and try to force it in their mouth. No. You tell them and they want to rebuttal. It's okay to listen to the rebuttal, but if they ain't going to change, guess what? You got to change your mindset. You can't hang around people that bathes in evil all day. You can't do that. We just can't do that. A child of the light can't be friends with child of the darkness. It just don't work. And I know we're only human and we make mistakes, but when you rectify your mistakes, you got to make sure you have to make sure that mistake don't come back up. Because when you make a mistake and it comes back up and you're still doing it, that's the problem. That's when you got to be judged because you knew better. Look how many people came before us that told us the truth about demonic spirits, but we don't believe it. Because you know why? Black people, we believe what we see. Pray you don't see a demon. Pray you don't see stuff flying around your house. Pray you don't. Because if you do, 9 times out of 10, you might lose your man. We'll be go checking you out in Belleville. Bellevue, the crazy house. Or Tinley Park, the crazy house. because our minds can only take so much, you know. So when the Lord was working through His people, He had to put the quick, what they call it. Well, I'm just saying, He had to put the quickening on them because humans can't take the vision of something like that. We never could and we never will unless He put us into that zone that you won't bust open. Then you'll be okay. Same thing with uh, working with witchcraft and being demonic. It's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. You got good, which is the light. You got bad, which is the darkness. I don't make the rules up. I'm just saying how they normalize things, how they call the stuff. That's what they call it. So it's not me. But why are these sisters running into this stuff, man? It's got to be a reason. The reasons are I don't know. I have to do some more study on it. But they doing evil chants and they wearing all white and it's like five or six of them. I think they all moved in together. They ain't nothing. That ain't nothing but an instrument for destruction. It's the blind leading the blind. You got to be a pretty tough person, and this goes for the men and the women. You got to be a pretty tough person to say, "Well, you know what? I was in church all my life. I seen God's side. Now for to turn around and take a glance at Satan's side, but I like Satan's side, so I'm finna serve Satan." That's a powerful thing to say. I can see if you was already in it, you ain't got nothing to lose. Hey, I'm a sinner. I don't want nothing to do with God. I'll respect you more. But then that's what you call a backslider. And how many black backsliders in the world? It's a whole bunch of them. A whole bunch of them. So the question is, why are these sisters joining these witchcraft cults? Because it's, listen to the name, witchcraft. It's witches crafting. That's all it is. A craft can be anything. It's as the old people just say, it's devilment, not doublemint, not the gum, devilment. And we're supposed to get along with this stuff. Oh, they don't mean no harm. Well, they're good witches. And hey, look, there's so much that I can sit up and tell y'all about this stuff. Witch doctors and all this stuff is real. People can actually witch doctors. Well, they're not. I don't think there's many in America, but in Haiti, there was these people called, and they still exist. Witch doctors will put a spell on you. Prime example, the movie The Serpent in the Rainbow. That guy, Bill Pullman, I forgot his name in the movie, but his real name is Bill Pullman. He was dealing with an actual witch doctor. They would come and blow stuff in your face and make you see illusions, and you'll wake up in a freaking graveyard. They will bury you alive and you can't even move. That stuff is real. So if all that's bad, witch doctors, witches, warlocks, if all that's bad, how can you turn around and say, well, you know what? We gonna use our power for good. You can't. You can't use evil for good. Just like you can't use good for evil. And us as a black race, I see my people falling deeper and deeper and deeper into the hole. And when we get to the bottom of the hole, it's like a billion crabs down there trying to pull us back down. Even if we have an inkling of sense, hey, wait, you know what? I gotta try to change myself. Somebody's always gonna say, why you gotta change yourself? Ain't nothing wrong with you. And then if you a weak-minded person or a person that don't know no better, you be like, oh, you know what? Nothing is wrong. Ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm fine the way I am. All of us can use some polish. All of us. All of us fall short of the glory. That's a given. That's just how it is. Nobody's better than the other person. Nobody. Because we all of us have to be taught and all of us need to be learned. Just because I can get on these shows and say stuff that I know about, that don't make me no better than you. It don't. I just know things you don't know. That's all. I know about witchcraft and evil entities because let's just say I know about them. All right, because I've seen a lot of things people wouldn't even believe, but that's neither here nor there. But yes, witchcraft is real, people. Witchcraft is demonic. Witchcraft isn't a good thing. Witchcraft isn't a sign from the Lord. Witchcraft isn't a gift from the Lord. It's a gift from the other guy, and y'all know who I'm talking about. So I hope I didn't take up too much of y'all time. Remember, YouTube, check me out. Pico City, One-on-One Talk, PTSD, the home of the same name. Hit that subscribe button. I know if y'all hit that subscribe button. So I want to thank y'all. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. Once again, I thank you guys for listening. I love all of you guys, and you know how it go. Comment on my page, anonymous comments. I want you to want me to see your name. Hit the inbox. I'll bring it up. But until then, until next time, we'll be back. Probably no, we'll be back Sunday. PTSD will be back Sunday. Well, not full effect because it was a full effect last week. But we'll be back with another great show from PTSD. And sorry. And take care of yourself. Enjoy each other and enjoy each other's company. Love each other and always put God first. No matter what we do in this life, put God first. It's better that way. Long story short, it's just better that way. And take care of yourselves. Be safe out there. And I know it's cold, so if you're going outside, bundle up. You don't want to catch a cold because then you got to call off work, and I mean the money can't get made. So bundle up. It's cold out there, and I love all you guys. And thanks for listening. This is Pico Talk 101 signing off, saying good night. And I have to play a video game.